It was pretty hot, I would say, for Halloween purposes. Today's temperature of 79 degrees, a full 20 degrees above our average high temperature for October 31st. I love the bats in this background here. I'm going to miss that for another 365 days. Speaking of 20, it's been 20 years since we had a Halloween this warm. That honor would go to 2004, which was the previous holder of second place for warmest Halloween, second on that list at 73. A huge difference between number one, 10 degrees to be exact, 83 back in 1946. So we now take the cake this year for the second warmest on all time. It was incredible out there this evening. Temperatures are still on the warmer side, but we do have some cooler air to tell you about coming up. But first and foremost, we do have elevated fire weather through tomorrow evening. This has been extended over the last couple of days, even though we've had a drip and a drop here and there, and that's what we're expecting heading into tomorrow morning. It unfortunately is not going to give us any measurable rainfall here outside of a tenth of an inch, or I should say a hundredth of an inch or so at absolute most, and that's just not going to cut it. We're in a worsening drought situation, as we told you about earlier, and for that reason, we need a lot more rain than that. As we look outside right now, temperatures are still in the 60s at this hour. It's not far from 70 degrees in places like Boston and a little bit further into the interior. Slight bit cooler, lower 60s down to the shoreline, westerly 61, Newport 63, 64 here in Providence. So we are tracking clouds and some rain. Again, very light stuff should get here right around the morning commute time, and it will last through about lunchtime at latest. It really, again, does not look like much. This is just a sprinkle or two here and there, and as you can see, just short of lunchtime here. Clearing skies off to the west, parts of Connecticut and Massachusetts, and then we break into the sunshine. It's a beautiful afternoon, but a cold front did come through, and the wind is changing gradually throughout the day. It'll be a little bit blustery, and that is something that adds to that fire weather warning or that red flag warning because of the dry air in place both in the air and on the ground. But then you take it a step further, you get a little flame, spark, ember here or there, catches on that brush, and then a gust of wind comes along, you really have yourself a problem. So with those gusty northwest winds tomorrow afternoon, that'll be something we'll have to keep a close eye out for. Be very careful with any open flames. It is going to also signal the arrival of much cooler air as we head into the first month of November, first weekend, of November. That coincides with Day 1 and 2 this time around. There is your rain forecast. Again, absolutely marginal at best. We need the rain, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're getting any time soon. So again, tonight, your forecast mostly cloudy, 62 degrees of southwest wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll look for some 7-day rain. We see another chance, a slight chance later in the day on Monday into the nighttime hours, but clearing partially for Tuesday. It is also going to signal the arrival of the warm air coming back in. Not as warm as the last two shots we had. We're not going to see 80 degrees this time, but hey, 70 degrees first week in November, that's pretty warm stuff. But unfortunately, again, no rain for the most part next week.